Good evening and welcome to the 2017 Pseudoscience Seminar. I'm Alex Chapman, the President of Phys Soc, and I'll be your MC tonight. Now, the time has come. The time has come for the truth to be revealed. No longer will we be shackled by the mainstream science that holds us down. Now, many people will tell you that what you'll hear tonight is utter nonsense. Let me assure you that these talks are facts, not just those fancy theories accepted by mainstream science. Now, to kick us off, we have Sam Clark with paradoxes and how they undermine science.
Brilliant. Right. I was starting by saying I've been absolutely stitched up because I started preparing this at 4 o'clock this afternoon and I arrived at Alex tells me I'm speaking first. So, brilliant. For the first part of this talk, I'm going to need a volunteer. Yes. Rob. Do you know what you're volunteering for?
No.
Right. I'm hiding under this, what do you call this?
A waveform.
A waveform protector. It's something you don't want to see.
Oh God,
The most horrible haircut. Known to mankind. And today I'm going to get rid of it with the help of Robin.
Yes!
So, I promise this is going to be relevant. Alright, so I want you to put your hands up when you think, at the precise point that you think that I go from being a glorious, mulleted person to a bald person. Right, let it commence.
Right now?
So put your hand up as soon as you think I'm bald. At the precise moment that I'm bald. That's not good.
Neil.
Neil.
I didn't know it was that kind of speed.
Oh, should have brushed it before.
The next bit gets shorter than the front of you.
Draw a smiley face.
Oh, right, there's one. Whoa, okay, hands are going up. Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Right, and that's my talk. Thank you guys. Okay, so the point of that, believe it or not, was to illustrate a classic philosophical paradox called the sobriety's paradox. So the idea being, there wasn't a moment when everyone sort of agreed, there wasn't a moment when I suddenly became bald. And the idea behind this paradox is a person with 100,000 hairs on their head is obviously not bald, right? But you can't make a person who is not bald go from being not bald to suddenly being bald by removing a singular hair. I mean, Rob was removing a singular hair and then another singular hair and another singular. He was doing it pretty quickly. But you know, you can't possibly take someone who's not bald, take out one hair, and that one hair makes them go from being a hairy person to a bald person. So if you have 100,000 hairs on your head and you remove one hair, and it can't make you bald, then if you have 99,999 hairs on your head, then you're also not bald. But by the same reasoning, you can just iterate that reasoning, and if you have 99,998 hairs on your head, because you can't remove a single hair and make yourself bald by removing a single hair, you're also not bald. But at what point? I mean, clearly I'm bald. Like, I'm bald. Yeah. Right. So, you know, by this reasoning, it seems like, you know, we get into these paradoxes where, like, baldness, like, it's somehow reconciled it by doing some sort of, you know, clever philosophy on it. But I mean, by and large, with science, we can ignore these things, right? We can say, you know, baldness, hotness, these sorts of things are in the domain of our everyday speak, but precisely what science does is it makes things precise, and we can give a much more precise account of the state of my head by saying exactly how many hairs there are and exactly the length of each one. So while we might have vagueness and the paradoxes that arise from in our everyday talk, I mean, science is the very mechanism by which we avoid these things. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Cool. Falling into my trap.
Right. Up next we have James on channel.
Hi there, everyone. I'm James. I'm a physics graduate now. We've just had a really wonderful talk from Sam about proper science and where do we pull the cutoffs and stuff like that. And he communicated it really well. But I think there's a few problems with what he said, like, more the method of communication, really. I don't think it's quite efficient enough. He was using words. And words often trip us up in many everyday situations. So, I'm going to be talking today about communication and a more efficient method of communication than our typical verbal or textual methods of communication. So for eons, humans have been attempting to communicate with each other. It's one of the main things that sets us apart from lesser life forms, our ability to communicate and that did not change. Communicate and transfer information to one another. And it's shaped our development as a species, and in some ways it's shaped our evolution. But I'm not going to talk about evolution because, as we all know, that's absolute hogwash. But modern life often stifles our ability to communicate via higher channels. It limits us to just the verbal or physical communication of messages and things like that. But today I'm going to give you an option and show you a way of communicating via spiritual energy rather than just our ordinary methods. So today I'm going to talk about channeling. Channeling is one of the two main ways of communicating with spiritual energy. One of them is obviously astral projection, where you leave your physical body and talk directly to beings of higher consciousness. And the other one is channeling, where humans themselves become conduits for spiritual energy and communication. While astral projections are incredibly interesting, I'm not going to touch on them too much because I think that's something to leave for another talk entirely. But channeling is a form of communication where you kind of become a conduit, a bit like a television. You have an incoming signal from a higher being, and you interpret that spiritual energy, and then you translate it rather into verbal or written communication. And it's incredibly efficient, much more efficient than our main ways of communicating today. But the main real difference between that and a TV channel is that you can get much more precision by transferring thoughts and feelings rather than verbal communication. The only difference is that it's much more enlightening than a Mike Hoskins interview. Hold on, where am I? So the thing is that you can communicate with far more beings than you can with other meat individuals. So examples include, but are not limited to, angelic beings, spirits of nature, non-physical entities, and even animals and pets. So during channeling, like I said, humans become a bit like a phone, or a TV, or an awkward Skype interview with your dad, allowing people and beings of higher consciousness to communicate. A channeler can choose who or what they want to communicate with, much like media outlets choose who or what becomes president. But there is no actual possession going on in channeling. It's more, you're still in complete control of your body. It's more like an interpretation, like I've said before. And contrary to popular belief, beings of higher consciousness don't actually communicate through words typically because they are awkward and confusing and lead to problems. And get off my lawn, I broke up with you 3 months ago. This allows for vast amounts of information to be transferred and streamed in an unfiltered, direct blast into your conduit's mind. That then gets translated into human speech. But on a similar vein, this can also be used to communicate with your pets. And in this case, humans are much more like the higher beings themselves, because we are. And a good place to start, it's the easiest form of this communication, a good place to start is with your family pets. They are pets, animals that you have a close connection with, and that have a close connection with you in most cases. And often, this is quite easy. It's a good practicing start to channeling your information to other beings. And then you can move on to higher life forms above us. And that's where things really get pretty great. A small disclaimer, it's much easier to do this if you have charged your third eye chakra. Hang on, there we go, your third eye chakra, and I'm not going to go into that because that, again, would take an entire talk on its own. So I encourage you to check out this website, www.chakras.info/third-eye-chakra/.
Now we have Adam Haskins with the real, actual truth on
That they don't want you to know about the EM drive. We're going there, and by there, I mean space. All right. So, what is the EM drive, you might be asking yourself? Well, I have a very simple explanation. It is a type of electromagnetic thruster that uses an anisotropic electromagnetic field encased in a microwave cavity to produce thrust. Yep. So, what exactly does that mean for us, though? Basically, it means that it's a propellantless thruster, so we can just take a big one, chuck it into space, take a nuclear submarine, chuck that into space, bolt them together, plug the EM drive into the nuclear reactor in the submarine, and just go. Alright, but we're scientists here, okay? We need to know the theory behind this. We don't take things on faith. So I want to clear a few things up, and I have a highly detailed diagram that I think will make it all clear. Now, as you can see, in the middle of the diagram, it's hollow. That's so they can put more science inside of it. Basically, what they do is they strap a microwave, like the one you have in your kitchen, and they pump a hose down, and they fill all the science up with microwaves, and then thrust happens. So yeah, that pretty much clears up the whole theoretical basis. But this isn't just theory, y'all. Oh yeah, this is real. That's a picture of one. That happened. And you know where that picture came from? NASA. Not only that, they wrote a paper on it. And that paper went through a year of peer review. They were sat around for like a whole year, like January 1 to like December 31. And people being like, I don't know, maybe. Not only that, they had 5 referees. Now, NASA usually has 2 referees. I don't know why they have referees at NASA, but for some reason they used 5 on this one, and I think that's a good sign. And best part is, they proved it unequivocally. No objections. This thing definitely creates thrust. Absolutely. Case closed. Yep. So, in conclusion, what have we learned here today? Well, 1, EM drive, totally real, super real. This is an actual thing happening in the world right now. 2, it works. It works, and it works through science and provable facts. And the best part about it, there are no large mainstream objections to this at all. That's right. So, thank you. That was my presentation.
Right, up next we have John T. Scott on the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. So that's HAR. Thank you.
Boom.
all, what does the government tell us? HARP analyses the ionosphere and investigates the potential for developing ionospheric enhancement technology, red flag there, for radio communications and surveillance. See, I see a few problems with this here. This governments, you know, they're about two things. They're about reproduction and they're about war. And I don't think that there's going to be anything in here about reproduction, so there's only one thing that they're going to be going on about. It's war. Boom. So, inside they have an ionospheric research instrument, IPI. It's a high-power radio frequency transmitter facility operating in the high-frequency band. What it does is it temporarily excites a limited area of the ionosphere. It can heat the air, right? And as we all know, Adrian will tell you this, the ionosphere has ion, which is atoms, right? Oh dear, and sphere is a ball, so the ionosphere is all of Earth's air, right? So this IPA can heat up just the air. Alright. As we know, the high frequency area is right here, right? You know, that's a good facade. They've got some words in here that nobody can read. But the one I want you to look at is here. Microwave. Right? Dangerously close. If I was the government, what I would do is I'd be like, yeah, we're making microwaves, but we could just shift it over a little bit. Oh, high frequency, no different. They're completely not the same thing. Right? Microwave. What do microwaves do? Heat things up. So here's the physics of how it works. It sends a pulse of radiation. Everybody knows radiation is bad. It interacts with the air. It thermally excites and can even unexcite the air, making it even colder. And then, because of that, what happens is the amount of water that can exist as air is dependent on the temperature of the air. So as the temperature goes up, it can hold more air. And as the temperature goes down, more air condenses, right? And as we all know, water. Yep. What does this mean? Well, if we've got water condensing and then water not condensing, the opposite of condensing, we start having pulses of clouds coming out from our facility, right? As you can see, there's a clear beam that they're shooting across the sky, right? We've got this massive weather system here, clouds, yep, coming across here. Oh, clouds are going away. It's destroying clouds, right? Why on earth would they want to do that, though? Why does the government want to do that? Probably not for reproduction, right? Weather warfare. All right. Just look at this place. This was at a place on the Earth. This is before a HARP attack. Nice, you see? Nice, lovely trees, rivers. Anyone can live there. Suddenly, 3 days later, boom! No rain, constant sunshine, everything dies, and the water turns muddy. Right? Look how terrible that is. I wouldn't want to live there. Alright. What about rain bombs? What if they made heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of clouds in an isolated area, right? Just have a look at this place. This is place number 2. There's 2 places on Earth. The other place, let's go on. Now here, this is clearly where all civilization is. You've got a dog, you've got some houses, you've got some people, you've got some cars. Boom, not a bad place to live. But wait, rain bomb, 20 minutes later, 112% of people are dead. Honestly, it's just too moist pasture to even have cattle. I'm not sure why you would ever want to live there anymore. It gets worse, guys. Can also emit extremely low frequencies, right? What happens is they bounce off the clouds that they've made, come back down, and couple with your extremely low frequency brain waves, and so they can control what your brain is going on. So notice how it's extremely low frequency brainwaves. So the lower your frequency brainwaves, you know what that sounds like, the more stupid you are, the more likely that you'll get brainwashed by the government. So as you can see there, sheeple, see you later. Smartle, here we are, in this room. Tinfoil hats, protected, nothing's going to go wrong. And I have proof that this has worked, this has happened. Look at this. Right there. Right when the ELF pulses begin, there's support for one of the stupidest people on the planet. And suddenly now he's the President of the United States. And now he's in control of so it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. But if you guys want to know more, if I've entrapped you enough with my ideas, you can welcome to buy my book. It's got all about how is going to be affecting your brain and a 3-step method to remove all extremely low frequency waves from your house and your garden. Protect your children. Thank you.
To start us off again, we have Seth with Conspiracy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Finland does not exist. That's it. Oh, it's good with that. Alright, so this is Finland as it's told to us. But this is in fact what Finland actually looks like. You'll notice it's not there. So, the government, not just the government, all the governments are hiding the fact that Finland is actually an open sea. But why? Well, let me tell you, I hope. We'll start with the timeline. In 1808, Sweden and the Russian Empire fight in the Finnish War. Finland, well, the Finnish Sea, is acquired by the Russian Empire, who installs a grand word to govern the Russian coastline. In 1928, the Soviet-Japanese fishery agreement goes ahead for some apparent reason. This allows Japanese the pretty much only rights to fish in Soviet-owned waters. No one knows why. In 1941, Japan and the Soviet Union sign a neutrality pact, despite ending up on opposite sides of the war. Again, no one knows why. There's Stalin, so you know it's true. Japan. Alright, so the rules of the Finnish Sea are simple. Japan is allowed to fish in the sea without worrying about environmental repercussions, and Russia gets a small percentage of the fish to distribute amongst their citizens. Now, there's no environmental repercussions because no one expects someone to fish where there's land. The fish are then transported from the western coast. I couldn't find a map without Finland, so Finland's this one, which is lies. It's transported from here down to Moscow, then across the Trans-Siberian Railway, which is the real reason for the Trans-Siberian Railway, to that unpronounceable town. Also, the fish are then packaged as Nokia products and shipped to Japan. This was Nokia's original logo. I'm not even joking. How much more proof do you need? Nokia makes up, that's supposed to be a bigger number, but I forgot to change it. 3.3% of Japan's total imports, yet no one in Japan has a Nokia phone. Why? Right, here's some math before we finish. Anyone who's done a lab will understand, a physics lab rather, Finland has a population of roughly 5.5 million. In a world with around about 7.5 billion, it's about 0.073% of the Earth. Now we know this done from government censuses, which have uncertainty of around about 1%. So, the proportion of Finnish people in the world is 0.073% plus or minus 1%. How does that make sense? There's a 50-50% chance that Finland exists. Some things to consider. Are Finnish people on the roads? No, they believe they're from Finland. They're wrong. They're actually from eastern parts of Sweden, western parts of Russia, and a few from northern Estonia. What about Finland's other exports? Finland's main exports are oil, tech, and software. Oil which can be acquired from offshore drilling platforms. Coincidence? No! Tech, or tech, which is actually fish, disguised as tech. Software, which is just people making software and rerouting their IP addresses. It's all fake. I think I missed something actually. Yes, why do GPS and satellite images show forests when there should be sea? Well, because, okay, so this was in the early days of GPS and satellite imagery when they decided, hold on, people can now see that the Finnish Sea is open, that Finland exists, so how are we going to hide this? So they tried desperately to cover it up with forest, but to their avail, they've mistakenly found some sea peeking through around here. How do they cover it up? With fords, which don't exist. So what about Helsinki? Helsinki's a large city, isn't that hard to cover up? No, Helsinki is here, in Sweden. Why the name Finland? Well, it's for fishing. What do fish have? Fins! How come no one has already unraveled this riddle, wrapped in a mystery? Oh, dang it. Enigma. Well, people have. Obviously, I have. How stupid would someone sound saying, I don't believe in Finland, despite being true? Why do other countries go along with this? This is the crux of the matter. Finland has become the ideal placeholder of a country. First in healthcare, first in education, first in gender equality. No country could be that good. It's become the perfect country for other countries to aspire to. Just every country is slipping short though, for some reason. Why does Finland get so high? Because it doesn't exist. So why not visit Finland? Because you can't! Amen.
Alright, up next we have Matthew Jones on the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and finding unicorns.
Right. This has been made possible by some information released on the 3rd of May by UC's Associate Professor Jenny Adams, which revealed that rather than being the creatures of classical mythology, which we previously thought unicorns to be, they are in fact quantum creatures. And with this information was provided that there are 3 observables governing the state of a unicorn. Its colour, which has an operator C associated with it, its happiness, and its location. And furthermore, we are provided with this commutation relationship, which clearly shows that they do not commute, and therefore the Heisenberg uncertainty principle comes into play, and we cannot simultaneously know all these quantities. Now, the quicker members of you may see that there is one situation in which this does work, if L equals 0. But of course that doesn't help us here, because the only way for location to equal 0 is in the unicorn's own reference frame. So the unicorn knows what colour it is and how happy it is, but none of us do, because while some of you may be lizard people, none of you are unicorns. That brings us to this. This is a unicorn. And as you can see, it has many of the properties of a unicorn. Looks like a horse, has a horn, and is posing in front of some fancy background thing that's better than the rest of us. But most importantly, it is white. And that is the important property of unicorns that we need to look at now. Because all unicorns are white. This is a proven fact. As such, we know with absolute certainty the colour of a unicorn. Which means we cannot know how happy it is, and more importantly, we cannot know where it is. Hence, we can't find unicorns.
So up next we have me.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time that you walked barefoot through the grass, or on the beach, maybe across some stone? Do you remember how nice it felt? How good it made you feel? Years of extensive research has shown that connecting with the Earth's natural energy is essential to our well-being, while disconnecting will lead to chronic pain, fatigue, and inflammation. This connection is called grounding, or earthing. Now you see, this energy comes from the fact that the Earth is like a giant battery, circling around the Sun. Pulsating through the surface of the planet is an unseen and virtually limitless reservoir of the subatomic particles you may have heard of called electrons. Now, this reservoir is constantly replenished and stimulated by the Sun, lightning, and the planet's molten core. They vibrate at different frequencies and give our land masses and oceans a subtle charge of energy. Just like a battery in a car, so too does this natural planetary reservoir of energy keep bioelectric machinery of global human life in rhythm and balance. Now, in the past, people naturally connected with the Earth as they worked in the fields, hunted in the woods, and sat around their fires. Since the advent of modern age, though, we have been disconnected from our planet and severed from this vital flow of energy. Now, studies have shown that this can lead to allergies, Alzheimer's, anxiety, asthma, autism, chronic fatigue, bad blood circulation, bad sleep, high blood pressure, more painful cancer. No, this is what they say. Depression and diabetes. Now, as you can see from this graph here, since we have been cut off from this connection with our Earth, divorce has gone up tremendously. This particular point saw that 90% of humanity was indoors. Look at that spike. After that, earthing became known and it dropped down a little bit. Ever since then, it's been on the rise. That's false. It's not going down. Now, see, the wonderful thing about grounding is that it's just so easy to do. All you have to do is go outside, walk barefoot on some grass, sand, dirt, or rock, and you'll be reconnected with that vast reservoir of electrons, elevating your chronic pain, fatigue, and other ailments that plague so many people today. Now you see, the body is composed mostly of water minerals, which in combination are an excellent conductor of electrons through the Earth, provided that there is direct skin contact or some other conductive channel for them to flow through. Now the whole reason this ever became a problem was that people were spending too much time inside, disconnecting themselves from the Earth. Now, what if you have to stay inside? Is there still some way to ground yourself, to reconnect with the Earth? Yes! In every building, there's something called the ground. It's a pole in direct contact with the soil of our Earth, and it's connected to all the other stuff in your house. So, by connecting yourself to this ground, you're effectively earthing yourself, and you can reap all the benefits of natural earthing. Jack, are you ready?
I've got something.
Would you want to present it?
Sure. Any perseverance here? Rub in. Maybe touched by this noodly appendage. Okay. You may have heard of this whole gravity. They say Newton found it. It's some invisible thing. Complete bullshit. That's what it is. This is the noodle theory of gravity. You're walking around, he's always pushing down on you. You should be thankful, otherwise you just float off. Proof? There's always proof. Back in the day, there was less people. So the noodles didn't have to go around as many people. So they pushed down harder, so people were short. Oops. Now, more people. They're spread around more. Look at all these tall people. I know like half of them.
Which half?
That's science, see? Look, it's a graph. It makes up, like, look at all these countries. Have they got, wait, what was that other one? It's a lie.
The fish are getting taller.
Thanks, science. Fake news.
The Finland line's the smoothest.
I wonder why. They obviously just put a linear bottom to it. They need to make data up some way. I
I don't have a lot to go on, but orbits, yeah, it's all, see this? This is round. That's why orbits are round. Undisputable. Yeah, I think that's all I have.
I believe we have a short presentation on why the Earth is actually flat.
Just a quick one, quick proof. Okay, alright, well, if I keep it not moving, can you observe that this liquid is flat? Mm-hmm. Right, okay, I tip it this way. It's still flat? Mm-hmm. Right, this is flat?
Yeah.
Wait for it to just stop moving. That's flat? Right, so irrefutably, liquids always go flat. That can't happen on a globe Earth at this point.
And I'm here to tell you about cold hard science. And you know it's cold hard science because there's the word dioxygen. So this isn't just made up stuff this time. We're playing in the real adults ball game. Okay? That was a metaphor, just made up. So let's get started. Just you wait. Right, you're wrong. So most of the atmosphere, and I know this is true because Wikipedia says it, most of the atmosphere is 78.084% nitrogen. It's only 20.946% oxygen. Okay, so that means most of what we're breathing is nitrogen. So we're not really breathing dioxygen, okay? People have been lying to us, okay? We don't breathe oxygen, we breathe nitrogen in a majority sense. So why do people lie to us? Who is lying to us? And what are we breathing, okay? Yeah, that's right. You're wrong, okay? Here's some animations to really just get the point across. Really take it in. I know it's a lot. You know, you've been lied to your whole lives. Just think about it, okay? Really think about it. So, the most reputable source on this earth, the president of the free world, that dioxygen was a hoax made by China to make money. Okay? Our top scientists were lied to. He even made a hashtag, went viral. That's right, a hoax made by China to make money. Really, let that sink in. Your head must be just swirling in emotion and confusion right now. Trump understands, okay? He understands. He sent America into the same turmoil. Because what else can we do when we've been lied to our whole lives? Right, so here is an article about bottled air by a Chinese businessman. That's right, a Chinese businessman. Trump has said that we shouldn't trust Quora. So I got this from the most reputable source on the internet, the Daily Mail. That's right. There's a green tick to it, so you know it's true.